Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Cantina Hangouts here on the Waffle Press podcast on, unfortunately, YouTube, but also Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Patreon, if you're listening. Hello, everyone. Thank you. It's Star Wars week. The new Star Wars is coming out, and of course, it's divisive. Uh, but I'm your host, Diego Crespo, here to walk you through all the emotions you're feeling in this tumultuous time of the year. And also with me is my co-host and friend, Gina Versa.
Hey,
Hello. We've been talking about The Mandalorian every week, either on this show or on Twitter. Gene, what are your thoughts on the show so far? Because this is the penultimate episode of the season, next week's season finale. And what else have you been watching?
I started feeling towards the middle of this episode. Wow, I wish this was. I wish this episode was like how the show was this whole series. It finally feels like a show. Um, but yeah, in terms of other things I'm watching, Watchmen has been such a pleasure to watch. I love it. It's the proper sequel to Watchmen. Doomsday Clock is okay. Let's see if it sticks its landing, but probably not. Um, but yeah, I love that Watchmen. I wish this show was like it.
I think you and I definitely talked about it this weekend, and we definitely talked about it before the show even came out. Where I was like, I don't need Watchmen in 2019. It said what it had to say when it was first released as a comic. You can't do what they did in the comic as a TV show. And
Hmm.
I was right, but I was also wrong because stupid Diego, Damon Lindelof is smarter than you. Of course, he wasn't trying to do what the comic did. He did it as a TV show, so he made it appropriate storytelling for serialized television. And
Hmm.
it was terrific. It was a delight. It stuck the landing. I got some minor issues, but unfortunately, this isn't a Watchmen podcast, so we'll have to talk about that probably at our yearly roundup. I would say, Gene,
Hmm.
to highlight some best stuff of the year and decade because I think that kind of fits the bill for both.
Yeah,
Watchmen was just fantastic.
it was the
Um,
show.
yeah, it was the show, honestly.
Gotta
Uh,
gotta cast Jeremy Irons and everything now, and then have him in an Ari Aster movie so he could do like fucked up shit. Or,
honestly, I'd be up for that.
or what's that
I
other director that did Blue Ruin?
oh shoot, I forget, but that's a good director.
Yeah,
You
put
know
him
who
in.
else is a good director? A bunch of people that work on The Mandalorian, like Rick Famuyiwa, Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard. Next week, Taika Waititi. And I bring up those directors because they're all very talented, and Deborah Chow in particular is really good at directing things apparently because her episodes of this series are consistently delightful even when the
Hmm.
writing wasn't as good. I felt in a prior episode we talked about.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. It
um and
was a
you're
hoots.
totally right, this episode it finally felt like it was all coming together in its own. uh I gotta be
Yeah.
honest, I loved this episode. I thought this was a good episode of television, like really good. um
Hmm.
and I just, we were talking shit. We're like, yeah, we're gonna watch it and we're gonna record it. This fucking thing's not even popping up. So we wait. No, let's just get it over with. And I
Hmm.
really, really liked it
Yeah, I
a
mean,
lot.
for the constant problems with Disney Plus because the interface is so laggy and so full of bugs. At least we have this episode to enjoy.
Yeah, chapter 7, The Reckoning, again directed by Deborah Chow. Um, I gotta be honest, I don't see like the I'll give her the Obi-Wan show thing
Mm.
from
Oh,
this, but
yeah.
she's clearly a talent. So like whatever, you know.
Hmm.
Written by Jean Favreau, so he's clearly a talent too. You know, he's a good director, he's a good writer.
Hmm.
Don't know where he was the rest of the season, if I'm being honest. Uh,
Mm.
I mean,
I
I
don't
know he
know.
didn't write every episode, but
Right.
I feel like there was a lot of like flourishes missing. And you know, it's fun to see all the pieces come together. So the basic synopsis of this episode is that the Mandalorian has to go meet up with Carl Weathers to finally like confront the Empire remnants chasing after him and Baby Yoda. So he gathers and assembles a team, which is, I believe, something we even talked about on a case by case basis about like when he needs someone to bounce off of. He needs
Yeah.
a more interesting cast of characters. And what do you know?
Finally got him.
Finally got him.
Yeah.
Well, most of them are sticking around. It looks like, except for one, which was actually I was sad. Like
Yeah.
I felt
That was,
this.
what
were your
that was,
thoughts
mhm.
on the episode?
I was very happy with the pacing and the direction in this episode. It finally came together. Because some of the episodes kind of put me to sleep. Um,
Yeah,
I,
they
I am watching this at midnight, sleep deprived, and wanting to go to bed. But yeah, this one was pretty good. Kept me awake.
yeah, honestly, because the other ones, like, I had a blast recording with our mutual friends Mike and Andy last week, but we were very clearly like exhausted, and the
Yeah.
episode wasn't interesting enough to like keep our attention. So I apologize to everyone for discussing the different ways that Baby Yoda is a racist and the Mandalorian is um, a droidist, racist against
Yeah, I mean,
droids,
yeah,
and
traumatic
haha,
experience.
even that comes into play in the episode, and it's just like everything that was seeded like in the most honestly kind of half-assed way in previous episodes comes like and it feels earned, and like just looking back I still think it so clearly wasn't. Like there's no reason for these episodes to have not been like significantly better, especially seeing how entertaining this one was.
Right. Well, I feel this kind of clash between this episode and then the rest of the show, which is just basically bounty law in space, because there's no overarching thing. It just plays out like a CBS show
Like
from this
it plays out like a
procedure
procedural.
procedural, yeah, like 70s show. So like Adam
And
12,
you know what, I think
or
that's honestly like
it's
I
not
think that
even.
could be a fun approach, but it's so like poorly written and realized
Yeah,
through it.
yeah,
Like Samurai
exactly.
Jack is like the big talking point about this one.
Yeah.
John Favreau, who's a huge Samurai Jack fan, who even got Gendy Tartakovsky to storyboard an action sequence in Iron Man 2 because he's such a big fan of his, right?
Hmm.
But Samurai Jack is like such a great use of like visuals
Hmm.
and editing and audio to like communicate a meaningful story, and you understand what Jack wants from episode to episode. There's an overarching narrative of him, Samurai Jack, Back to the Past. That it's
Hmm.
in the theme
Yeah,
song.
exactly. Yeah,
It,
and
it's
it's
right
not even.
there.
Yeah, it's not even. It's Am, by the way.
Really, I never knew that.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
does
god,
that.
the
So
man,
yeah.
he should do the Mandalorian theme in the same style.
Hmm. Yeah, but like it's not even a good CBS show like The Prisoner. It's just fucking Bounty Law, or like what's the one below Bounty Law? Like was it not like Rawhide or something? There's a show called Rawhide. Do you remember that? No.
Uh, I don't actually. It is also important to note for viewers that yes, we know Bounty Law was not an actual television show, but Rawhide. Which one's Rawhide?
It's the it's the show. It's on CBS where it's just it has a theme song. Get 'em up, ride 'em up, Rawhide. Has that
Oh
theme song?
no, I don't
Rolling,
know.
rolling, rolling.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, that's where it
Oh
comes from.
my god. Okay, well that's hilarious.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like those old '60s westerns, like or even like just the old '60s procedurals in the '70s. Like I loved Hawaii Five O. Like they're obviously like hugely problematic elements and shit, but like whatever. Like you can deal with that of the era.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
I don't know. There's like a kitschy um nostalgic quality to them
Mhm,
that I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's a layup for the Mandalorian, and it just did
mhm.
not. It was not a layup. It was very clearly very difficult for it to realize. But the way this all comes together and seeing all these characters bounce off each other, and not just the Mandalorian, seeing them be like, oh, well, like oh, it's a cute baby, and then Nick Nolte's character comes in, he's like, oh, I've heard stories, and it's so much fun because
Mhm,
Star Wars is a cool swashbuckling fairy tale narrative. You can do anything with Star Wars. And it felt like they were picking and choosing genres to like dabble in, but they couldn't settle on anything. And now they
Mhm.
finally brought it all together. The finale
Yeah.
next week should be a home run. There's
No.
no reason for it
Oh,
not to be as good
is
as
it?
this.
Yeah. Is it next week? I thought it was like we have more time.
There's one more episode. Let me see really quick while we do that. But as I looked that up, let's talk about what actually happened in this episode. So we get the return of Carl Weathers, of course, right?
Yes.
And
Some
he,
development in his character.
yeah, I thought it would be like a fun thing where he's chasing the Mandalorian around a couple planets, and no, he brings the Mandalorian back. It's clearly a trap, and even the Mandalorian knows that. That's why he gathers a little team. And like that's fun. It's like, oh yeah, he's smart enough to recognize that that's not gonna go well unless he
Yeah.
has backup. It's like he's not a dumb dude to like.
Hmm.
Um, and then we get some really fun like back and forth between the two teams, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
And what I thought would have been kind of fun if it was the same team from the prior episode that was working with Carl Weathers.
Mm.
You know,
All
maybe
those dudes.
that would have been maybe a little too busy, I guess.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit, a little bit.
yeah. They can come back at a later date because that shit's fun. Like you have to bring them back like that. That's what makes this pulp adventure stuff so fun. And then you get like this fun creature feature action with like these bat dragon things,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like tearing apart these people, and they poor fish, my poor fishy leg boys, who they all died this episode. I was heartbroken, Gene. It broke
Mm-hmm.
my heart to see them in pain. Um, and Carl Weathers gets fucked up by one of those dragon bat things, and
Yeah.
then he sees the power of Baby Yoda firsthand, and that felt like classic Star Wars to me. What did you think about that whole set piece? Because one, I thought it was really fun, and two, I just like monsters in Star Wars.
Yeah, that whole set piece was very classic Star Warsy. It was very, interesting. Just like you could actually see what was going on in the night. They were just shooting at stuff. I mean, I don't know. I was watching all the shows. Whenever they film something, you can't even see a fucking thing. And good on Deborah Chow for like using lighting and everything. It's not. This isn't a Game of Thrones, which everyone was wrong because they had to adjust their TVs. But yeah, this looked really beautiful. Just that fight was such a great I don't know, like suspense, something out of Apocalypse Now or
I
something.
I didn't make the Apocalypse Now connection, but that's a good one. Yeah, the that night lighting with the low flames and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that, and just like the indiscernible like horror of an action scene. Because for us it's fun because it's like, yeah, space adventure, but clearly for those people it's like horrifying. They're getting eaten
Yeah.
by space monsters.
Yeah, like geez, that'd be terrible. I mean, like just in the middle of the night, just some some creatures come at you. I mean, the worst I've had is just like there might be ghosts in the house. I don't know.
Well, the worst I've had is that I'm ridiculously hungover. But
Yeah.
anyways, that was it was just such a like delight. I was like 10 minutes into the episode and I couldn't believe how much I was enjoying it. And this episode also has quite the body count because Carl Weathers then turns on the henchman that he brought with him too, and he's like, "Look,
Hinge,
hench."
Hinge 1 and Hinge 12.
Oh. Is that a Venture Brothers reference?
No, it's 21 and 24.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was close though. I gotta catch up.
Mhm.
But yeah, he clearly moves by the experience with Baby Yoda healing him. I was, these are like character turns that are simple, easy to
Mhm.
understand, and completely like believable. Just given these
Mhm.
small moments between these characters,
Mhm.
and the evolution of that feels just like so exciting. Like it just such a relief that the show feels like it has momentum now. It has like a purpose again outside of like moments in prior episodes that
Oh
we've
yeah.
enjoyed.
Mhm.
And it's just it's also got that fun like Star Wars goofiness where he's like, oh, there's only like 4 guards around Werner Herzog or whatever the fuck. And they get to town and there's clearly more than just 4 guards. Like that's like a Han Solo thing where he's like, oh no, I got
Yeah.
it handled, and he clearly doesn't.
Or like when George Lucas just put a shit ton more stormtroopers in those Death Star scenes in Episode 4. CGI'd them in, just like
Yeah,
that.
fuck it. I mean, of all the changes, like
That's the way I always intended it to be. A lot of shit ton of stormtroopers. Needs to be faster, more intense.
yeah. And this episode was faster, more intense. I bet George was proud of young John Favreau writing and building this show.
Yeah, and the editing too. Like, was Walter Murch telling him, it's like, George, you can't do this. You can't go from a sad scene to this Jar Jar stuff. Where's your editorial mind? You came up as an editor.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah,
an
like
editor.
there's nothing here that's like conflicting. It all builds naturally to this really riveting conclusion where I was genuinely curious, like, all right, are they gonna get out of this? And I didn't even realize they cared enough about them to care if they were gonna get out of it,
Yeah.
And sadly, Werner Herzog does not get out of it. He exits the series after 3 appearances. And there's all these stories about how everyone loves Baby Yoda, and even Werner Herzog was on set, like, by multiple accounts, basically falling in love with the creature, even though it wasn't real. And so I do like that his last scene is asking to see Baby Yoda. Like, that's just so fitting before he gets, a hole blown out of his chest.
Yeah, when you see a Baby Yoda on the corner of San Vicente and Coenga, you have to adore it. Do the Baby Yodas fight? Do they attack? Do they have monetary pleasures?
I just wish Werner Herzog appeared like this in every big franchise, just for a screen time of maybe 10 minutes once in a while.
He's been in a lot of stuff, like Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher's like a solid action film, but he makes it a great one. Like, for those that don't know, Google Werner Herzog Jack Reacher, and then watch the movie. Like, if you're not in with that scene, you won't like the movie. But if you do,
and then he's in Rick and Morty.
Oh, that makes perfect sense for me. Yeah.
Does he care? Does he just take the paychecks at this point? I
think he kind of does, but he's also like a huge rebel filmmaker. Okay. So I don't know.
Okay, because he has to have some sort of say on what he appears in. He's
oh yeah, of course. I that's the thing. Werner Herzog, he's not going to do something if he doesn't want to. And there's this great interview. This is basically an in memoriam for Werner Herzog episode, even though we did like the episode, where Werner Herzog, I think, was asked was there a lot of pressure on appearing in Star Wars? And just for those who don't know, Werner Herzog has shot in multiple jungles across the globe, in blistering weather changes, heat, cold, deserts. He doesn't give a shit about IP respectability. If he wants to do something, he'll do it. So everyone was kind of dunking on that interview because it was you think Werner Herzog even knows Jon Favreau directed Iron Man? There's no way.
I don't know. Maybe. Be surprised.
I mean, maybe he's a Bond movie fan. He wanted to be a Bond villain.
That would have been nice.
Oh, that would have been so fucking awesome. But I mean, it could still happen. He's still around, so
yeah. Just edit out Rami Malek, who throws fits during interviews. So fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He did look like an interesting Bond villain, though.
Yeah, I like the mask.
Yeah, it was a cool.
You see, not to hop over to Bond, but I think it ties into Star Wars too. What makes it exciting is kind of the tropes that go with the territory a little bit, but what makes it memorable and what pushes it forward is how it uses them and what it uses those things to say about the characters and the worlds. And the Mandalorian's it's such a relief to not come to this show angry because it's finally like
Yes.
bringing it all together and
Yeah,
moving it forward in a big way.
just have this be all of next season. Please, God.
There's, I think that's probably like what they're gonna do. I mean, watch the finale, just prove us wrong, and be like, nope, we're out for sure. We're not doing
Yeah.
this again next season. But my
Me.
belief, we could talk about the end of this episode and just final thoughts, of course. But like my belief is that this episode was meant to set up like a Firefly like premise for a series, but it was like we're gonna have the Mandalorian off on different adventures. So when they all team up, right, and we build this team together, it'll be like more satisfying. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I just think it's very clear that they didn't care about the building of the team so much as like the idea of building the team.
Yeah.
Like if the individual episodes were stronger like this, I would lose my mind over this show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Me
there's no
too.
reason why it can't keep improving because this was a heck of an episode. All right, Gene. So we lost Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte died saving Baby Yoda. Nick Nolte, whom we all
You
love,
didn't save him.
trying to save Baby Yoda. Forgive me.
Okay.
Did you also curse at your television screen?
No, I was just really sad. I was like, oh man, this is a shame. Poor little guy carrying a littler guy.
Yeah.
Swoop bikes just decked him.
Yeah. It's just that was actually very, very sad for me. I lost my fishy leggy boys. I lost my small Nick Nolte. Now Baby Yoda's in peril, and I'm not the one to put him there.
He took a big
No.
fall. I hope he's all right.
Oh yeah.
Only
No.
that, the
Baby Yoda
velocity
cracked
of
open
that.
his fucking head. No, I'm just kidding. That's a little dark, even for me. But uh I am sad to see Nick Nolte go. I would,
Yeah.
if they totally cop out and he comes back like flying in the ship or whatever, like Titan AE. That's a deep cut for those who know. I would
Tiny,
like
and then it has Creed playing in
Creed.
the background.
Creed was not in Titan AE, Gene. I don't know how many times we have to go over this, but if he comes in and
wide open.
if Nick Nolte comes back and he has defied death itself, I would be totally okay with that. Because I also just think Star Wars could use more alien people. I don't need every character to be human all the time. Like keep bringing in the new stuff. Like let's see what else we got going on here behind the curtain in a galaxy far, far away. This episode also saw the return of the Death Troopers from Rogue One and Star Wars Rebels. They're just sleek black stormtroopers, but a cool design's a cool design.
They've been rocking it the last couple of years. They're the best things to come out of 2016 and out of Rogue One. The Death Stormtroopers.
I don't know. I really like Rogue One still. Flawed for sure, but very, very cool antagonists. And I would say that I am very impressed by the 30-second appearance of Giancarlo Esposito. Like that dude just rocks it. People that watch Breaking Bad know that this dude is the shit. Also, Better Call Saul. I've heard he finally shows up in that. I have not seen any of it, so sorry, everyone.
Either.
But terrific actor. I'm very interested to see how he carries on the mantle from Werner Herzog. Because I mean, if you're taking out Werner Herzog, you're making a statement as a villain. I know.
I was kind of, I don't know, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, though. Where we're showing how badass his character is by killing off the other badass villain. It's like, here's a big shark, and then here's a bigger shark. A little like that.
It's like, it's just, it's such a basic, like, obvious storytelling tool. But given that The Mandalorian was clearly having problems with like its own storytelling, if they pull it off next week and for the future direction of the show, I'll be cool with them being like, look, this wasn't working. We're cleaning house. If it doesn't work, then I'm right there with you. Like, you should have just kept around Werner Herzog.
Yeah. I mean, but Giancarlo.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. Taika Waititi gets to have a comeback also as a director and actor next episode. So really looking forward to it. And Gene, you were right. the episode returns after Christmas. So
Yeah, it's gonna be the day after Christmas at midnight, and all the poor film and TV media workers like us are all gonna be overwhelmed. We just want to enjoy the holidays.
actually, it returns December 27th. So we're
Yeah,
good.
but
We're good.
we're gonna have to watch it.
If you're out of town though, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, if you're out of town, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode will also be released like 24 hours before the Rise of Skywalker premieres. So
we saw a preview of it if you watched it.
I did not. I asked you, hey, is there anything like a post-credit scene? Because I heard that was happening. And then I didn't get a response because we had to record, and then I went pee, and now I'm here. But did it look cool, Gene?
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. Yeah, just Chewie and Poe and Finn just in the Falcon, just
Saying
kicking
that Star
ass.
Wars, baby.
Yeah, Star Wars.
I know people
That's
like,
what they say in the and then they said that too, like the Star Wars baby. And then
I know people have kind of like memed that like as like a rib on Abrams, but it's like I'm not expecting another Last Jedi from him. If that's what he delivers, I'll be okay with that.
there's humor in Star Wars now? Is this a Marvel movie?
Oh yeah. No, look, the worst Star Wars movies are better than most Marvel movies. That's just like a fact. I think.
For sure. I don't know about Solo, but
I mean, no, Solo is one of the best Marvel movies made by Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I was just
sorry, Solo.
Yeah,
but look,
if you're still hating on The Last Jedi 2 years from now, get a fucking life. Like move the fuck on.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. There are sane people that don't like it, and there are clearly people that need other things to do in their lives. So
yeah, just see the movie on its own terms. Like if you don't like a storytelling choice, fucking watch another movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, like, fucking complaining.
Yeah, I mean, like we're complaining about the Mandalorian, but I mean, like honestly, if we were just going to be ragging on it continuously, I would have a conversation with Gene about like, look, we don't have anything constructive to add anymore. Let's just not do the show. Yeah, I think that would be a completely valid thing. But it looks like there's hope for us, so that's exciting. It's not what I expected going in today.
My sleep schedule would be thanking you, but it's a good episode.
Yes, it's a good episode. Let's wrap up. Any last thoughts before you want to go to bed and tell the people where they can find you?
I think Baby Yoda would eat Carl Weathers. If he just fucking eat him.
You know what? Yeah. No, he was trying to heal him so the meat would be more tender.
Like an Action Jackson.
He's just gonna nibble away slowly at
the crew. How does he die in Predator? Like his arm gets torn off?
Oh yeah, no, in Predator he gets his fucking arm blown off. Yes, and then he gets stabbed in the chest. And then he screams.
The Predator could give the arm to Baby Yoda.
Oh, now that's a fucking crossover.
So I want some fan art of someone drawing that. Little stick figures would be fine.
Where can the people find you, Gene?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Gene9892.
And you could follow me at Twitter at the Diego Crespo. Check out the YouTubes for the Waffle Press, but also check out the Waffle Press and Cantina Hangouts on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Patreon. Yeah, total pleasure recording with you as always, my friend. Total pleasure to be very wrong about this episode of The Mandalorian. And we'll talk to you guys before the next episode of The Mandalorian, I think, because we got some Star Wars to talk about this weekend.
More Star Wars.
We're
gonna Star Wars is gonna kill us.
There will be a Star Wars retrospective, the final one for the Skywalker saga with me and Matt. And then Gene and I will do something for the end of our year episode too, because that's Star Wars, baby.
Star Wars, baby.